We've talked about analog horror series before on this channel, but it seems lately that for every well-crafted series, there seems to be garbage. But through the trash heap, I found a series that piqued my interest.
You're awake. You were out for so long. I didn't think it would work. I saw you. You were dead.
This series is made by fellow creator Jeremy Jankles, who is responsible for the gem that is this video.
Don't look at me like that. You know you only deserve the best. Hey, that car looks familiar. Oh shit! It's the ops! Get down, babe! Fuck! I knew I should have worn my shiesty. What?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Truly art that inspires. Now, the timeline for this series is confusing in the story itself and out of the story. So while the first official story video was this video, this seems to extend way back farther. So let's start analyzing. First, let's list the evidence because there are videos that are relevant to the story, like this one, and videos like this one that aren't. I'm mostly going to be analyzing the YouTube channel because he does have a TikTok and Instagram, but he mostly reposts videos from his TikTok and Insta to his YouTube channel anyway. There are a couple things that change between his social media and his YouTube channel, which we will be looking at, but we're mostly going to be looking at the YouTube channel. The first instance of the Jeremy Jankles lore starts on September 22nd of this year, where he posted this video titled Things Only Artists Do. So first video in the timeline. Now the next instance of the lore is a little more difficult to figure out. This is the main reason I wanted to list out the evidence before delving into it, because there are videos that may or may not be part of the story. For example, this video, How Being Still Will Hurt You, was posted on the 27th. I think while not directly related to the story, this video is kind of an inspiration or an offshoot of the story. When we start analyzing video by video, I'll explain how. The next instance of our story is also on September 27th of this year, where he posted a video titled I Hate Myself. Alright, wow, straight off the deep end, huh? Alright. Now this is where the TikTok comes in, because the videos were posted to both his TikTok and his YouTube, but the descriptions on both of these videos are different. We'll circle back on this. Now the next instance of our Now the next instance of our lore comes out on September 29th with a video titled Things Only Artists Can't Live Without. Now this is where the story really starts to be consistent with its settings and our characters, which again we'll circle back to. Alright, now finally the main part of the story starts. Also, this shit is taking too long, so I'm gonna start batching videos together. So on October 10th, 16th, and 17th, these videos respectively came out. The Day I Forgot You, Decay and Let Me Rot, and When They Ignore Your Only Messages. These videos are the first instances of a cohesive story rather than a bunch of snippets held together very loosely. The next story video comes out on November 19th and is titled How to Summon the God of Decay and Immortality, and is more of a traditional analog horror trope, which I have mixed feelings on, but we'll get to that. And the final part of the story so far came out on November 26th, titled Things Artists Just Love. So that's 9 videos so far, which is actually more than I thought it was. Alright, let's start delving deeper into these videos. Alright, so before I start this, I highly recommend just going and watching this video on Jeremy's... Wait, Jeremy? I've heard that name. Why do I know that name? Oh my fucking god, it's Jorma. It's literally Jorma. Is this just Jerma? It always comes back full circle, man. Holy fuck. Anyways, like I said before, I highly recommend just going to his channel and watching his video. I'll be playing snippets of it on my video, but I really think that emotional whiplash that is trademarked to him can only be fully realized when you watch his videos on his channel. And also he's broke as fuck, so you know, go support him. He deserves it. Alright, let's start with things artists do. The video starts off as normal. Well, as normal as this mofo can get, but towards the end of the video, that's when we start to get hints, clues, and questions about lore. What a dubious little fellow. Some of the first instances of the lore are sprinkled in this video. For example, this girl in the glasses, which will make sense later in the lore. And of course, the infamous beach. We will be coming back to this beach often throughout the series, as this seems to be the place where the inciting incident occurred, and we'll look at that later, but for now let's move on. How being still will hurt you. This video starts off by, you know, just being goofy with the my throat. Anyways, this video starts off, like I said, being just a little goofy with the funny clown man doing weed, haha. Literally fucking Shaggy, but you know, a clown. But then comes the classic emotional whiplash. The female version of Jeremy Jankles, I'm giving no context to this, basically starts saying that she's scared and that she's been going through some shit and that it's chipping away at her slowly.
I don't want to feel like shit forever, but things keep happening to me that just keep tearing me down, and I guess I'm afraid that it'll all stay the same. Like, nothing will change. I'm scared of incoming wave of stillness.
Huh, seems familiar. But the clown gives a pretty hefty response to her conundrum.
Listen, I'm not gonna be able to give you an answer for that. Nobody is. I could say, oh, you need to figure that out for yourself, but it's obvious you don't even know what you have to do. But, you want my honest answer, Jankles? What you're afraid of is getting hurt if you take the wrong step. Which is warranted because you've been hurt with each step that was taken. The way I see it, though, you confused yourself.
Confused myself?
Well, yeah. In your mind, you think that you get hurt more because you've taken that step, so you refuse to take any more. But you need to understand that being hurt doesn't come with moving forward. It follows you and breaks you. That is, until you learn how to move forward in spite of it. Don't let your problems anchor you. You're not a ship waiting at bay. The water's vast. Do you think you'll ever be able to appreciate the sea if you let its waves push you back?
See, this is why I'm not sure if this is part of the lore or not, because the way they're speaking about their sadness and how to confront it and using the sea as a metaphor, I think while it's not explicitly part of the lore, it's definitely inspired by it at the very least and is used as something to push the lore forward. I hate myself. Okay, this video is where things just straight up take a turn. No silly goofy mood, it jumps straight into peak self-hatred, not even an exaggeration. This video is pretty self-explanatory, but there is this particular part of what he says that intrigued me.
I live a nightmare, to be confronted by my own mind, a truth that haunts me.
I'm curious as to what this truth is, a truth that is so intense that his own mind confronts him with it every chance it gets. This is where clear lore is starting to be established beyond just characters and settings. Also, this is where his TikTok also comes in. He posted the same video on his TikTok and his YouTube channel, like I said before, but their descriptions were different. In the YouTube channel, it's just this. Is this man okay? But in the TikTok, this is what we get. Immortality. Few go seek it, few have found it. Those who have were left confused, to be cursed with life and to beg for death, has left his Jankles out of breath. Hands are burrowed, a brain now split, no magic here, no lips to kiss. A hat so green, with hair so black, will give his Jankles more to pack. He's seen it all, but been through worse, no going back on this ancient curse. Could fill an ocean with his tears, has seen no age in a million years. A pain so deep, a scar left healed, living now, serves no appeal. This is where we clearly start to see what this lore is all about. The curse of immortality, that is. Let's keep going. Also, before we go forward, I was looking at his TikTok. It's funny as hell because he didn't tell people what this was. And people, I mean, I said it too, but people were like, are you okay? Like, what the fuck? Things only artists can't live without. This video starts back again with the usual. A little silly goofy, but once again turns tragic towards the end of the video. Now, this video is the first full mention of this girl in glasses that we saw before in the context of the lore. Let's call her glasses because it's more convenient. I don't want to I don't want to say girl in glasses every time. Now, in this video, there is in fact more explicit lore of how the girl is involved, as he implies that the figurative cracks in glasses are there because of him. Now, what these cracks are or how he caused them, we're not sure yet, but let's keep going. The Day I Forgot You. Now, this is where shit hits the rails and is in fact where this series fully starts. The video starts off with the title Act 1. Jeremy, at least what I assume to be him because it's his voice, wanders around an empty beach, maybe the beach that we have been seeing so far. Text flashes on the screen. At first, I thought this was just Jankles' thoughts, but the way the text seems to respond to Jankles seems to indicate this is a conversation between two people, Jankles and someone else. Jankles seemed to have done something that woke up this other person. He's surprised that this something that he did work, and this person responds with utter resignation and confusion, saying, "Please tell me you didn't." And then Jankles finally reveals that this other person was dead, implying that Jankles somehow brought someone back from the dead. This seems to be the inciting incident that we assumed to be before of the entire series, that through desperation and fear, Jankles brought someone dear to him back from the dead. Now, when we look at the thumbnail, there seems to be golden glasses, indicating that the someone else in the video is glasses, and that she was the one brought back from the dead. When we take a look at the description, we see some gibberish sentences, but the words are all scrambled. This, when switched around with the Caesar cipher, gets us this. Same thing we saw in the description of the I Hate Myself TikTok description. Decay and let me rot. This video is the second explicit lore drop we see from Jeremy. The video immediately starts with Jankles crying and desperate. He says that he wants to make this one worship to you and let her live on, and in return to take him and let him rot instead. And he says this to the god of decay and immortality. Now, we're unsure if this is before or after the Day I Forgot You video. On one hand, if it's before that video, this is how he brings glasses back to life, by literally begging the god of decay and immortality to bring her back, and in return take his life instead. But if it's after, it seems something went wrong and glasses, once brought back, had something wrong with her, or he didn't do it properly maybe. In the description, we get a short story. Ever since we found the book, Jay's been acting all sorts of paranoid. Says the book is speaking to him in his dreams. I want to chalk it up to just anxious ideas in his mind, especially given the times we're living in, but the bloody bags underneath his tiredly manic gaze says otherwise. I want him to be okay. Please let him be okay. I've known him for a bit, and he's my only company I have left. We've come so far just to get a hold of this stupid book, and I'm not even sure what we were told was actually real, or just some stupid story made by someone to give us false hope in our final times. My biggest regret would be that we only used this journey to find a book that has no meaning whatsoever, and it was all just a distraction to let time pass by. I don't want to die like this. I know he doesn't either. We'll try tomorrow. If all turns out well, I'm sure by the end of it, we'll all be living our best lives, free from the fear of death. I want to see him smile before the sun sets. I'm sure it's beautiful. From Gigi. After that, we get another scramble of words, and if we put that through a Caesar cipher, we get the god of decay and immortality is unmoved by your putrid bravery when they ignore only your messages. This video starts off like your classics before, but once again swerves into tragedy. He seemingly reminisces and wishes that things weren't the way they were. He goes back to the beach with his friend where the inciting incident happened, crying. Tom, the other character, says that Jankles doesn't have to come back here, but he does, because he won't be able to forgive himself if he doesn't. This is where more details are revealed about the inciting incident, that Jankles tried to fix it, but he only ended up making it worse. In the description, once again, a Caesar cipher text shows this text. You made this deal. You know the consequences. This is your fault, green hat boy. Do not toy with forces you do not understand. How to summon the god of decay and immortality. The next video is where it swerves into the cliches of analog horror a little bit, at least for me, but it's still very well done, especially with the voice acting. Tremendous job. This video is quite long, so I'm just gonna play it. I don't want to just summarize it because it's a really good video.
To make a wish towards the god of decay and immortality, you must have two things. Number one, of course, is the Summoner's Book. The Summoner's Book is an important piece to have in your ritual, as it contains inside the pages the steps on how to summon and contain the god of decay and immortality. Number two is a willing or unwilling participant. This one is optional. Now that you have these two important factors in order, it is imperative that I tell you the 5 steps that you need to take in order to summon the god of decay and immortality. Number 1, you must be ready to let everything go. Your mind, your body, and your soul belong to the god of decay and immortality. Number 2, if your goal is to gain immortality, then you must be prepared to decay something. As it is written in the Summoner's Book by the god of decay and immortality itself, I am not hope, I am not salvation. When you wish upon me, you will decay. Number 3, the location of where you summon the god of decay and immortality has to be empty. Any area that is absent of life is important to summon the god of decay and immortality, because if you so choose to make the unfortunate mistake, as I have, to summon it in an area where there are millions of human lives, then you will be burdened with the grief of decay forever. Number 4, in order to summon the god of decay and immortality, you must smear the Summoner's Book with the blood of your sacrifice. This step could be willing or unwilling. The god of decay and immortality does not care. Number 5, there is no going back. Once you made your decision, it has been finalized. No matter how many times you beg and scream for mercy, he will not give you mercy!
Things artists just love. This video once again starts off goofy and is in fact a collab with Nirami. Epic for you, James. And like always, shit hits the rails towards the end of the video. He says to someone that he's thinking about his mortality and that he's about to die soon, and that someone can do nothing about it. Then that certain someone says that he can do whatever he wants, but at the very least wants him to be warm. So she lends him her hat, giving him the infamous green hat. And then says this.
Did I just get risked off?
James, I'm gonna strangle you. This time the description is... oh, it's normal. Okay. But in between the silly part and the serious part, there's a quick flash of a seizure cipher which says this. Blood on his hands, they are there by mistake. This quivering feeling that he cannot shake. Called upon me, just in time. Lost her body, lost his mind. Both decay, both still live. There's no going back from what he did. Alright, so we looked at all the evidence in detail so far, so let's start piecing together the timeline of the story. I think I have a pretty comprehensive review, but essentially, Jeremy is depressed because he is about to die of something. This is either figurative in a way where he feels as though he wants to die, or literally where he has a disease or virus of some sort. I'm leaning more towards the figurative side. After this, Jeremy meets the golden glasses girl, and she gives him the iconic green hat that he is known for in his videos, a classic. In an undisclosed amount of time, Jeremy and golden glasses girl get closer, and she reveals that she is also dying. I'm presuming in the same sense as Jeremy, but that's debatable. Someone tells them about the Summoner's Book, and they find it. After finding the book, Jeremy becomes obsessed with immortality and goes insane. He tries to obtain immortality, but instead accidentally sacrifices golden glasses to the god of immortality. He gains immortality, but loses glasses. I'm guessing this is a truth that haunts him, that the way Glasses died is his fault. It's also presumable that Glasses died in a pretty horrific way in front of him, and that might be another reason that the truth haunts him, because it was so gruesome. He realizes what he had done and pleads with the god to bring her back by sacrificing his sanity, and the god lets her come back, but in incomplete form, either as a ghost or a figment of his imagination or something along those lines, as you cannot fully bring back a sacrifice, as the god says this multiple times, that there's no going back from what he did. Another piece of evidence for this would be the quote from How to Summon the God of Immortality. Blood on his hands, they are there by mistake, this quivering feeling that he cannot shake, called upon me just in time, lost her body, lost his mind. Both decay, both still live. So in the nick of time, Jeremy calls upon the god and brings her back in exchange for his sanity, but in incomplete form. This also checks out because Jeremy says he tries to fix it, but made it worse. I'm guessing by bringing her back in incomplete form. Now Jeremy, immortal, feels immense regret for what he did and is constantly haunted by guilt over what he did to Golden Glasses Girl and is haunted by her. Now, this theory is pretty solid in my opinion, but there are definitely a few holes. For example, if he exchanges sanity for her and she comes back in incomplete form, war issue. She does show up here and there in videos, but it's kind of implied, or at least it seems like it's all in Jeremy's mind. In that case, did she actually ever come back, or was it that when he lost his sanity, he lost his perception of reality and is just imagining her ghosts? Like I said, a lot of holes, but with the evidence that was given and with the brain I was given, this was the best I could do for now. Jeremy is still cooking up more stuff. We saw that Act 1, so I'm guessing there are more acts, so let's wait patiently. I think this is a great first try and is one of the most creative stories being set on YouTube right now. He's using this being so beyond human comprehension, something so broad, literally a god, and is using it to depict something as specific as losing your friend by your own hands. Now, obviously killing a friend because you accidentally sacrificed him to the god of decay is not a relatable scenario, but a friend cutting you off because you did something that they felt was wrong, that's something a lot of people go through, and the story takes that feeling and takes it to the ultimate extreme. Relationships are complicated because people are complicated, and it takes a lot of time to cultivate a relationship, and people make mistakes. If you're on the receiving end of that mistake, it's up to you to decide what you do. No one can tell you that. But if you're the one who made a mistake, just know that sinking feeling you're going through, it's something that's felt by a lot of people, and it's temporary, and you will get past it, and you should definitely not beat yourself up over it. I've been AWOL for the past couple of months because college and other things, but I'm back. I will be making videos, and Happy New Year.